You've watched people around you sail through life. Normal problems, normal struggles. But yours? Yours feels different, deeper, like something is hunting you specifically, like suffering has your name written on it. And somewhere in the quiet, a question burns. Why me, God? Why so much? I want you to hear this clearly before anything else. Your heavier cross is not a punishment. It is a precision assignment. God doesn't scatter pain randomly. He architects it. And the fact that yours is this intense, this specific, this relentless, that is not evidence that God forgot you. That is evidence that He is building something in you that He cannot build any other way. Let me show you from His Word. Job wasn't suffering because he was weak. He was suffering because he was gold. Look at Job 23, verse 10. Job, in the middle of losing everything, his children, his health, his dignity, says this, "But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." Job didn't say silver. He said gold. Gold doesn't just get shaped. It gets burned. It goes into the furnace at temperatures that would destroy lesser materials. And in that fire, every impurity floats to the surface, gets skimmed away, and what remains is pure. Here's what nobody tells you. God doesn't put everyone in the furnace at that temperature. He only puts in the gold. If your suffering feels unbearable, if it feels like it's been going on too long, too hot, too relentless, ask yourself this question. What if God already sees gold in you that you haven't seen in yourself yet? The intensity of your trial is a signal, not a sentence. It's God saying, there's something in here worth refining. But sometimes the fire isn't just about refining you. Sometimes it's about protecting you from something you can't even see. Think about Joseph. His brothers threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery. He ends up in a foreign country, serving a man named Potiphar. Then he gets falsely accused and thrown into prison. Years pass, real years, dark years, years where every door slammed shut. And if you had asked Joseph in that prison cell, why God, he wouldn't have had an answer. But here's what Joseph didn't know. If he had stayed with his brothers, he would have stayed in a small life, a safe life, a forgettable life. The pit was the path. The betrayal was the corridor. The prison was the preparation room. Genesis 50, verse 20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Some of your suffering is coming from betrayal, family who turned on you, friends who vanished, people who should have celebrated you, but instead they buried you. And you're wondering why God didn't stop it. He didn't stop it because He's using it. The people who betrayed you didn't derail your destiny. They delivered you to it. The isolation you feel right now, that's not abandonment. That's God separating you for a specific assignment that requires you to be unattached from what used to hold you back. Your pit is a pit, but it has a purpose. Now here's something the church doesn't always talk about honestly. Sometimes God gives you more suffering not to refine you, not to protect you, but to keep you. Paul was a man who had been to the third heaven, caught up in visions and revelations that no other human being had experienced. He had access to things beyond what words can describe, and God gave him a thorn. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 7. To keep me from becoming conceited because of these surpassingly great revelations, there was given me a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. Paul asked God to remove it 3 times, 3 specific requests, and God said no. Not because God didn't love Paul, but because God loved Paul too much to remove what was keeping him tethered to grace. Listen to what God told him. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Your thorn might be a health condition that won't resolve, a mental battle that keeps returning, a relational wound that never fully closes, something that makes you look at other people and think, why do they get to be free of this and I don't? Here's the answer God gave Paul. Because your weakness is the exact channel through which my power flows. If God removed your thorn, He would remove your dependency on Him. and your dependency on him is the source of the power that flows through your assignment. Paul goes on to say in verse 10, "That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Your thorn is not a flaw in your story. It's a feature of your calling. And then there's this. Sometimes God allows suffering because he is preparing you for a specific road that requires a specific kind of person. John 21, after the resurrection, Jesus is standing on the beach with Peter, and he says something strange. He says, "Very truly I tell you, when you were younger you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." John tells us plainly, Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Think about that. Jesus looked at Peter and said, "I know the road ahead is hard, and I'm asking you to follow me anyway." Your suffering might be preparation for a road that God has only assigned to you, a calling that requires you to have walked through exactly what you've walked through, not someone else's version of it. Yours, the specific grief, the specific loss, the specific years of waiting and confusion. Because the people you are called to reach, they need someone who actually went through it, not someone who read about it, not someone who watched from a safe distance. They need you, the one who came out the other side. Here's what I want you to hold on to right now. You may be sitting with an unexplained health crash that's derailed your whole life. You may be carrying a family betrayal so deep it feels like the floor fell out. You may have watched door after door slam shut until you started to wonder if God even knows your name. He knows your name. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." He didn't set you apart and then forget the plan. He didn't choose you for a purpose and then lose track of your pain. He is in the middle of it with you, crafting something that could only come from this exact combination of fire, pressure, loss, and time. Nobody else has your specific suffering because nobody else has your specific assignment. The weight of your cross is matched to the weight of what God is calling you to carry for others. The depth of your wound is matched to the depth of healing you will one day carry in your hands. The length of your waiting is matched to the magnitude of what he is aligning on your behalf. Romans 8 verse 28. "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Not some things, all things. Not just the clean things, not just the things that make sense. All things, including the things that broke you, including the silence that confused you, including the prayers that felt like they bounced off the ceiling. All of it, working, even when you couldn't see it working. You're not too far gone. You're not forgotten. You're not cursed. You're gold in the furnace. You're Joseph in the pit. You are Paul with the thorn. You're Peter on the beach, hearing Jesus say, "I know the road ahead is hard, and I'm asking you to follow me anyway." God is not punishing you with your suffering. He is trusting you with it. And that trust, that weight, is one of the most sacred things he gives. The people in your life who seem to have it easier, God loves them, but he has a different assignment for them. Lighter roads require lighter preparation. You are made for something heavier, and that is not a burden. That is an honor. So here's your one step. Do what Paul did. Stop asking God to remove the thorn. Start asking him what the thorn is for. Sit with him, even for 5 minutes, and pray this simple prayer. God, I don't understand this pain, but I'm choosing to trust that you do. Show me what you are building. Show me who I am becoming. I surrender this to you. That's it. That's the doorway. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is how you stop fighting the process and start cooperating with it. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. "My grace is sufficient for you." It was enough for Paul. It is enough for you. Your suffering is not random. It is not punishment. It is not proof that God is absent. It is proof that he is close, working, refining, protecting, preparing. And when he is finished, you will come forth as gold.